Lucky Booty. Hey guys, welcome to the backyard. Still got a lot of work to do. We're in the process of trying to kill all these weeds and then regrow grass. But anyway, welcome to another book vlog. I like doing these. I like showing you little tidbits of my life and reading a book. It helps me accountable and I actually finish it. So we're gonna go to a place called the Book Loft. It's like an independent small bookstore, which I like. I haven't been to a Barnes or Nobles in a while. Maybe I will revisit. And we're going to go see Shakespeare in the Park to see what they're playing in the play in our area, beautiful park area. And whatever we get into this weekend, whatever we find, I'll tag you guys along. I'm kind of trying to figure out what book I want to read this weekend. We'll see. Let's go pick one out. My little bookshelf. Let's see what book I'm going to read next. Let's see. Let's do this one. Alright guys, you know the deal. Let's get some deets about the book I picked for this weekend vlog. It's Pet. I think this is a children's book, but the synopsis intrigued me. So this is about a utopia type of civilization in the future. And the main character, this beautiful young black girl, her name is Jam. And it's about her and her best friend, Redemption. Gotta love the names, by the way. Living in this perfect world where nothing goes wrong. There's no crime, there's no nothing. There's just happiness and glee. But all of a sudden, something is created from one of her mother's paintings and a drop of her blood. And it's a monster. Oh my goodness. And they call them Pet. And the new monster that was created by Jam and her mother's painting is seeking out a horrible presence in her house. So it has a little bit thriller, suspense, a little bit of scariness to it. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's 203 pages. This is the picture of the beautiful author that did this book. I hope it focused. And it has 203 pages. The wording is not bad at all. It's not that small. So I think I'm going to be using either my magnifier that I put on my glasses and just take my time. And I think I can get through this book over the weekend. Let me show you the magnifier I'm going to use. So I decided instead of the magnifier that I could put on my glasses, I'm going to use a handheld magnifier. So it looks like a little credit card. It's very thin and sleek. But when you open this bad boy up, it has a light on the end and you can magnify. Make things bigger. I'm not sure if you can see me. But yeah, I'm gonna use this on my book. So yeah, I'm excited, but I'm excited about the one I selected too. So yeah, hopefully it won't be like the last vlog where I do all of my updates on the book at the end. Hopefully instead of a sprint, I will actually take my time and read it through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday so that I can give you updates throughout the weekend. We will see how this weekend goes.
Porch, be able to catch those.
I like the door.
Sorry.
Forward. Left. It was $18.
Probably was a runner or something right there. Because there's only 24 to begin with. Okay, well, it was worth looking because I was clearly in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
There's this.
So, you see that? So, there are 3 wasp nests in the house. One in my bathroom, one in my husband's bathroom, and the hallway window, which I showed you. I told my husband he has to knock down the nest, otherwise he will come back. I knocked down the nest after we killed the nest in my bathroom, his bathroom. Nothing came back. Reminded him, did not do it. Wasp came back. So we had to spray it again, and this time he's going to knock down the nest. But yeah, I'm starting to decorate the attic area. Got a futon for free. The gentleman that it was like on Facebook Marketplace, whatever, he's moving back to Japan, so he's trying to get rid of all of his stuff. And this is going to be my corner for Mia Rocks, and I got everything that I want for this in my Amazon wish list or buy later. We're going to put a TV right here, some shelving, and right here it's going to be our workout area. We're going to have some free weights. We're going to get a treadmill, some yoga mats. So slowly but surely, always remind yourself you don't have to get everything at once. Even though the capitalism in us screams, no. Take your time. Had to cut her back. She's growing on the grass. Four-legged bird. Doing good. Hi. Hi, you're good.
Okay, so looks like just here for an annual updating vaccines today for Roxy. Looks like not due for the rabies or distemper until August 2024. She received the 3 years of both of those last time. Is due to update the Bordetella as well as the lepto and the canine influenza. Has she had any, do you believe she's still at risk and in need of those vaccines?
What would put her at risk?
So Bordetella, she's commonly coming in contact with other dogs.
She has to because she gets groomed and everything with her. Yeah.
Okay. And then as far as the lepto, is she around wildlife?
Yes, we go hiking a lot.
Okay. It looks like we haven't done the Lyme vaccine on her. Is that something that you're interested in?
Was it on our estimate? I'm not sure.
It may not have been. So if we haven't given that, we wouldn't inherently put that in for your estimate. Typically we just put in, which ones we've done in the past and that she's due for.
So for her flea and tick, would that be okay? Or
yeah, so the Lyme vaccine is if you're hiking a lot and our exposure to ticks is pretty frequent. That's an elective vaccine. It is one that we would have to do an initial inoculation for and then schedule you back in a couple weeks for a final booster for that. And then it's just done annually.
Yeah, I think her flea and tick is good.
Okay. And then it looks like due to update the heartworm test with the tick panel as well. Okay. And then do you guys plan on boarding here pretty soon? I just asked because we are on allocation for the canine influenza vaccine. That's kind of on back order, so I can check to see if we have some, but I wanted to.
Hey guys, I haven't been cracked her open yet. I'm ashamed. So I'm gonna start reading her now. I'm gonna try to get to 25 pages and then I'll catch up with you guys and let you know what I think. Peace. So I've read the first 26 pages. And then I'm going to just try to do chunks of 25, 26 to push through the rest of the weekend. But I'm really, really liking this. So, so far I just got into the second chapter, but Jam, the young lady here, is, spoiler alert, there will be spoilers. She's trans and not deaf. She refused to speak unless she has something important to say to use her voice, but her parents taught her how to sign. So, and she's trans. Her parents gave her the necessary hormone treatment. She got surgery to transition to what she felt her body was. So definitely using the correct pronoun for her. I am so excited for this book. The representation of brown people, it's just, it relates to now. It's talking about the definition of monsters, of people, monsters and angels. And these are people, not deities or supernatural beings or gods. But monsters were what we live in today. People, prejudice, patriarchy, war, hatred, bigotry, all those things. And then a revolution happened. They talk about hashtags and children that have passed and the hashtags that sparked the revolution, and the angels, humans basically, that were over this revolution to push them into the utopia they live now. And now they are saying there's no monsters in the town they live in, the city they live in called Lucille. There's only angels. And they also said that Munster was their old mayor, which is, I don't know, just hits so many points. It's like, wow, this is the world that they're talking about in history is the world I live in now. And just kind of falling into this fantasy that maybe one day the Munsters they don't put them, they don't have prisons, they don't have jails, but the individuals that were Munsters, they have them going through rehab. I don't know, this is like awesome. So I do want to read a couple of sentences that kind of just peeked out to me to you guys. Let's do that. Okay guys, so sorry for the lack of lighting, but these are a couple of lines I wanted. I don't have the tags or anything. I just underlined the things I wanted to read to you guys in red to make it easy and to find, so I can find them easier. So the first one is remembering was important. Just basically how their education is based on remembering all the horrible history to not repeat it, and just continually saying that you have to remember what happened to prevent the Munsters from coming back again. Another line is, her mother's name is Bitter and her dad's name is Aloe. I just love the names in this book. And the mom was explaining to her, like her grandmother died while giving birth to her mother and named her Bitter before she left, and they kept the name. They didn't change it. And the mom told her that a lot of things were manageable as long as they were honest. You could see things clearly if they were honest. You could decide what to do next because you knew exactly what you were dealing with. So her mom didn't see her name Bitter as a noose around her neck, but she remembered what her mom went through, and she took that, hey, what my mom went through was hard. What my mom went through was difficult. She lived at the time of Munsters, so the name she gave me is honest. So it's manageable because I understand it. I love it. Another line is, Jam always felt lucky when she stood in the path of her father's joy. Wow. The way to explain parental or a child's love towards a parent. Perfect sentence to show respect, love, awe. I just want to read that again. Jam always felt lucky when she stood in the path of her father's joy. She stood in the path of her father's joy. She could feel it. It wasn't made up. It wasn't contrived. It was there. Yeah, that's awesome. Another part is, but an echo of a memory is not the same as a memory, and a memory is not the same as a now. Anyway, he said it loud enough that the painting heard it. Also, the problem is, when you think you've been without Munsters for so long, sometimes you forget what they look like, what they sound like, no matter how much remembering your education urges you to do. So yes, people forget, but forgetting is dangerous. Forgetting is how the Munsters come back. And that kind of goes right back to the beginning of the book where they say you have to remember, you know, how I kept saying that they beat it down into your head. But she also acknowledged that when that past is so far removed for the next generation that didn't live through it, because we see it now, it's like people don't understand what happened, or they try to whitewash, or they try to rewrite history. It's like the next generation is so far removed from that struggle that they can now stand up and live in peace, that you forget. Even though you try so hard to remember, you still forget. So no matter how hard you try to remember through school, you're so far removed from the actual action of it. It's like just remembering facts. It's not actually remembering the feeling and the strife, and oh, it's just awesome. Awesome. And that's the only things I've underlined so far. But yeah, I want to enjoy this. I don't want to speed read this. I want to be able, because I could just tell with the way that this author just like explains the surrounding, the way she uses the English language and words. It's very decadent and very delicious. So I'm going to enjoy every morsel of it. Okay, guys. See you in whatever this next clip is. Ooh, what about this one? It's kind of nice. It's small.
Small? I guess it's smaller. What is it? It's still spot on. You like a 500 one?
Yeah.
We looked this last one over here. So I remember that very much.
Oh.
Snow. I think a lot more snow.
Yeah, I think that'd be perfect in there.
Well, all I can say is I did the rugs.
Now, how much would that be for two?
Yeah, so why compromise? Just wait and get like what you really want.
So today I stopped at 155. Like I said, this has 203 pages, so I have 48 pages to go before it's done. Still loving this book. The second part of what I read is about, you know, when Pet came out of her mother's painting due to unintentionally Pet cutting herself on her mom's painting, and the mother had razor blades for the mouth of the monster, but of course Pet didn't, the little girl didn't know, Jam didn't know that, and when she ran her hand across her mother's painting, she cut herself and it went on the painting and the monster came out, and the monster's name is Pet. Anyway, so the monster is trying to find Pet's trying to find a monster that's in Lucille. He said that's in Redemption's house, and he told her that when she's ready to tell her friend Redemption, she needs to tell him the whole truth but for some reason she did not want him to be afraid. So she told her friend about the existence, and he showed himself to Redemption, but she didn't tell him that the monster was in his house. So they went to the library. So he didn't have that information. So they went to the library and they asked the librarian, like, hey, can we look up something that tells us what monsters look like family monsters? So the librarian, being concerned about their age and knowing this knowledge, but also understanding that everyone has the right to seek knowledge to all their questions regardless of their age, he took them to like a archive room with pamphlets, so really quick reads. Unfortunately, the pamphlets were about child abuse, drug abuse, things of that nature. And they split them between themselves. Jan was reading some, and her friend Redemption was reading the other. He was really excited, having that child giddiness of an adventure and meeting Pet. But he read something that struck him. He's seen an unseen, and he figured out that something's going on in his house, not knowing that Pet already said that the monster's in Redemption's house. But Pet was also excited with his reaction of being able to put the pieces together, saying, see, I was right, the monster's in Redemption's house. Unfortunately, Redemption really didn't think about that sentence until he walked Jan back to her home. They were sitting down to eat dinner, and her mom asked her, because laundry finished, to run up and put some laundry on her bed while Redemption was sitting out. As she was running down, her friend Redemption walked out the house, and she ran to her mom and dad, Aloe and Bitter, and asked, hey, what happened? She's like, I don't know, he just seemed really upset, he just stormed off. So she called him, and her call automatically got rejected by Redemption, what never happens. Then she sent him a voice note, and then he eventually responded and said, he put it together. He's like, hey, Pet said the monster was in my house. You knew all along, and you did not tell me. You lied to me, Jam. And she tried to respond again with another voice note saying, I'm so sorry. I was trying to protect you. I didn't want you to be afraid. But he rejected it. And that's where I left off. So very, 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 very cool. And the thing that Redemption found out is that his little brother, his name is Moss, his big brother used to give him baths all the time, and all of a sudden his behavior changed, and he didn't want his brother to give him a bath anymore. He had all these bruises on his body, and his brother just wrote off, hey, my brother's clumsy, but he saw the unseen after he was reading pamphlets about child abuse, and come to realize that someone's hurting his little brother, and that person that's hurting his little brother is the monster. And it may be in his house, and he's trying not to think about if it could be his parents or not, so he's going through a lot of confusion. But I want to read you a couple of my favorite quotes. One, I don't hold violence in my hands. I thought that was from Redemption, but he became very violent and angry when he soon realized his little brother Moss was getting hurt. Another one, it was hard to keep secrets. You had to keep track of them, regulate how they moved through your body, make sure they didn't swerve and jump out of your mouth. That's from Jam, about keeping things away from her parents. Because, another big part I forgot, her parents, since she's the one that conjured Pet, she's the only one to send him back into his world, and that's what they told her to do. She didn't do that. She had him stay to do his hunt because she felt if there's a monster in Lucille, it was her responsibility to make sure it's extradited. So she's keeping a secret from her parents, and she was keeping a secret from her best friend Redemption about the monster being in his house. So that was very true. You think it gives you clarity, sight that pierces. It can be a cloud, a thing that obscures. And this came from Pet when he was trying to tell Jam that, she was trying so hard to find the monster by herself at Redemption's house, but she had her own bias that she couldn't see beyond her own truth. She couldn't be objective. And then a pool of water with the moon reflecting in it, who would want to throw a stone and break the pitcher? She kind of just wants everything to go back to how it was. Go back to her perfection. All knowledge is good knowledge. And I kind of like that because regardless if the knowledge is something horrendous, knowing and understanding and comprehending and have critical thinking is a blessing. Instead of being willfully ignorant and not understanding the world around you. So knowledge, all knowledge is definitely good knowledge. So today we found this fireplace screen, and this is now a non-working fireplace, but you see the little grate in there. We're gonna get some fake logs that light up. Yeah, but I think that's pretty cool. And we got a box fan for our attic, and I got like a sewing machine because I want to learn how to start sewing, just because. And Roxy put all her toys on a chair because she said that's where they belong. These are her favorite toys. Roxy! Roxy! Does that feel good on your legs? So I finished her. It's Sunday. I actually finished her yesterday on Saturday because it was just so good. I'm not going to give any more spoilers. I think I told enough of the book during my little interludes throughout this vlog. But all I can say is that I highly enjoyed it. It was a great read. I love everything they represented. Jam being trans, the life they live now being very, very, very utopian and tolerant and loving, but you know, nothing great can last forever, right? And her best friend redemption, having 3 parents, being in a loving polyamorous relationship. I don't know, it was really great. Even though they were looking for the monster, it wasn't like a like detective story or anything like that. The wording was very beautiful. I really, really enjoyed this. So I'm going to definitely put this on my Goodreads as well. And I'm going to rate this a 4.5 out of 5. I highly recommend that you guys pick it up and read it. I loved it.